This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, what's going on, guys? I am back with two of my amazing friends, Just Josh and my boy Big Block. And today we're going to be talking whiskey on Big Guilty Cigar Review. Now also the Big Guilty whiskey review. So if you want Josh, you want to introduce yourself first, and then Block can kind of let the people know your background and how you fell in love with whiskey and your collection.
Yeah, so what's up, everybody? I'm Josh Jones. I'm out here in the DF Dub, live in North Dallas. Been a spirits guy for a long time. I actually started out with beer, and beer was kind of my gateway. I was a big craft beer guy, and something that's interesting that I've noticed is a lot of people that start out in craft beer, they kind of move over into the spirit realm. And I've always been into whiskey, but it wasn't until I would say 5, 6, 7 years ago that I really dove off the deep end. And it just takes one or two friends that kind of hook you in and say, hey, well, why don't you stop drinking that Jack Daniels and try this, and then try this and tell me which one you like. So that's kind of what got me into whiskey is just hanging out with good friends, smoking good cigars, and that's all I got.
Big Block.
What's happening, everybody? I'm Big Block. I'm out of Maryland. Right now I live in Waldorf, from Washington, D.C., born and raised. I got into whiskey or just alcohol, all the above, from my grandmother, her brother, Uncle Mark. Uncle Mark was a moonshine maker in North Carolina, and he had a distillery in the back behind her house in the woods down there by Fayetteville. And I would go out there and taste for him. So needless to say, I've always dibbled and dabbled into the spirit world, but I didn't come back until into the fold as far as bourbons and whiskeys and all those until I say about 10 years ago. I mean, I was more of a tequila person, always sipping tequila, never a Blanco. I was anejo reposado type of person. So that's a little bit on me.
All right. So the first question I have for you guys. These guys are the experts. I'm the novice. And so anytime that I see Block carries something that I call grenades. So that right there is something that he carries around. He carries around like these little four either whiskeys or bourbons. It's always fire, and everybody's just like, oh damn, what is this? So he told me about Penelope, Eagles Rock,
Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare. Sorry, Eagle Rare. I get it right. Talking to Josh, I don't know what it is about these Texas guys, but these Texas guys, they love, Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace. I found out from Josh, and it was a few on his Instagram that I want to talk to him about. I believe it starts with an A because you just came from an event, correct, Josh?
Yeah. Are you talking about? And I haven't cracked this bottle yet. Are you talking about the Weller Antique?
Yes, the Weller. Yes.
Yep. This is yeah. So this is interesting. So this is the same proof and the same mash bill as that old rip tin the Block has. So but it's non-age statement. So it's a younger whiskey.
You just said something very interesting that you said mash bill. So
yes.
When you think about that, what does that mean as far as the mash bill?
The mash bill is what goes into what they call the beer, right? When they're making, when they first start out making whiskey with, you've got your corn, your barley, your malt, whatever grain you're using, that basically turns into wort, which is the same thing that they use to ferment beer, but instead of ferment it, you're throwing it through a still, right?
Yeah.
So all those ingredients that go in there, that's called the mash bill.
Mm.
Mhm.
And does the mash bill go in? Is that the same thing as when they say single malt, double malt, cash strength and stuff like that?
Well, single malt, yes, because that's one that there's one malt that they're using in there, right?
Okay.
But cask strength is different because at that point we're talking about proof and not mash bill.
Yep.
That's when we're talking about what we're putting this in the bottle at. Are we watering it down or are we keeping it
You
funky?
got right. Or are we keeping it at what we cast it at, or are we keeping it at what it's barreled at? It's definitely this whole realm is definitely different. It's like he's saying, as far as the mash bill, like you have like 4 different grains go into, or you got 2 grains, you got single grain, you got multiple aspects of making whiskey, even over with the like space side, you got peated, you got so many realms that you can get into with whiskey, bourbons, and ryes. Really, originally America, yeah. um,
Yes.
their biggest, they actually their initial before bourbons was rye.
Mm.
So that's what we're really that's the original. To me, rye is always the original before the bourbon.
Okay.
So that's something if you want to definitely step into getting into ryes. Um, like George Washington did a rye. Everybody that predates where bourbons and whiskeys was rye because of the grains. Basically because of the grains we had growing here.
So now another thing I want to jump into now is if you're starting a collection, what do you start? Like if like your little cousin is just now getting into
Right.
whiskeys and he's like, oh man, I'm liking this. Like, where do
Okay.
you come off? What path do you take him down when it comes to first
Me
starting?
personally, I'm gonna take you down the path of what can you afford?
Okay. So
What can you afford to buy?
so
That's my
you
realm.
have a $200 budget
Okay.
and he wants to just get somewhere between 6 to 8 bottles if it's possible with 200.
6 to 8.
Well, okay, 4 to
Wow.
6, 4 to 6.
You get more than that.
Okay.
I was going to say for somebody that's just getting into it, you can
Yeah,
get
you
some
get way
heavy
more than
hitters
that.
for 18, 19, 20 bucks, man.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Here,
Like my
this guy right here,
Mm.
old granddad 114, $22.
Oh wow.
wild turkey 101.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Block put me onto
20
that one.
bucks.
Yep.
Hold up. 20 bucks. No. Old tub, unfiltered,
Mm.
$19 to $20.
The white label Evan Williams bottled in bond,
Bingo.
$14, $15.
Wow.
Yeah. If you want a big handle of that, that's 20 bucks, 30 bucks for a handle.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's affordable. You have affordable stuff that is quality. Do your research. That's what I would recommend anybody. And I would tell anybody, do your research. Find out what you like. Don't jump out there with a $200 bottle and you not like it because you're gonna be mad at yourself.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true.
So
there's nothing wrong with getting on YouTube and watching 3, 4 reviews before you go out and you pull the trigger on a really expensive bottle.
yep.
Because if let's say you get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bottles that is some budget stuff, but you're able to pick out the notes that you like in that and the style from that.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
what's gonna kind of drive you to this whiskey over here.
Yeah.
And then after a while, your palate's going to expand, just like
Yeah.
with cigars.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
you're going to come over this way a little bit.
Yep.
And then you're going to get into cast strength. And yeah, it's
like, okay, people always go to Maker's Mark. I'm using Maker's
Yeah.
Mark as an example. Maker's Mark has the basic Maker's Mark, and Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon, and everybody, because what you're gonna get from Maker's is a lot of cherry. Now, as you get more into it, you find the other Maker's Mark. You find the 46, you find the cast strength, and then you start finding all the other variants of it, and you're like, wow, you those things you will find. My first, like I said, I've had whiskey. Like my dad had old granddad, the original old granddad in a bottle. So as a kid, you see that. I know I'm not supposed to be drinking as a kid, but as a kid, you're like, wow, 100 proof. Woo! You get older, you're like, oh my goodness. Okay, you try it, but you taste it and you're like, wow, honey, brown sugar, vanilla. You find these notes as your palate develops. You find these notes, and what Josh just showed us, man, that OGD 114. Ooh, that's a go-to.
and that actually has the same mash bill.
I have it right here.
Yeah, see? And that has the same mash bill as Basil Hayden's.
Yep.
And what's crazy is you've got a higher proof on that. So basically you're getting more bang for your buck with that than you are from Basil Hayden's.
Yep.
Because they're proofing it down.
Yep. Hands down.
Now, most people because like some people say like they can't deal with the burn. But at the same time, like before this episode, I was doing a lot of reviewing, and and the guy was like, you can buy $100, bottle of whiskey or bourbon, and it tastes like dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
had several of those.
Yep. Yep. Yes, indeed. You can.
Well, as far as the burn goes, what I tell everybody is that first tiny sip, that's to get your mouth acclimated to the proof. That's it. And then once you get your mouth acclimated, it's not going to toss you around as much. But that higher proof is important because once they start proofing it down and they add water to it, they're stripping away the flavors. They're stripping away the viscosity. If it's too hot for you and you want to change, something I brought out here is something that my wife Mary got me. There's an angel on it because it's angel share, but this is a pipette. You just add just a couple of drops of water and it'll completely change the whiskey.
Right.
Wow.
But like Josh is saying, you have to taste it first. Don't proof it down off the rip. You got to all right, let me taste this. But like he's saying, once you get one sip in, your mouth has to get acclimated. You sit back, let that linger around for a little bit. Then you go for another sip. The burn fades away. That's what people like, oh, the burn. Lower proof whiskeys are great. They're good. They have some good flavorful lower proof. But you want flavor, you go to the higher proofs. You get way more. It gets complex. Now, only in my book, I say as far as whiskeys that have a lot of flavor are the scotches. That's the truth. But it's aged different and way longer too on a lot of them than what you get in a young bourbon. That's what people say.
I'm glad you said that. It was Scotch. It's funny, you'll see, a cast strength Scotch, which comes at 102 proof. It's crazy. Scotch is a crazy, beautiful, different animal. Whether it's
yes, it is.
Whether you're just looking for a space side or something,
peaty
Isla that's gonna be heavily peated. Oh yeah, it's just very different.
It's very different.
So, one thing that I didn't know was peat because in Scotland they don't have trees, so they can't. They actually can't go and use like the wood barrels like we do over here. So the peat is actually like the sea moss. Well, is the moss.
Well, they actually do. They do use American barrels.
Girl, okay.
Yeah.
They take American used barrels.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So
But you're right about the peat. The peat is basically moss.
yes, it is moss.
Yeah, but as far as Scotch goes, used bourbon barrels are the number one thing that they like to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for bourbon, they can only use. I mean,
Fresh,
yeah, fresh,
brand new.
brand new. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so with Scotch, they actually they're using already
Used.
barrels.
Yeah. Yes,
Mhm.
they buy the used barrels and they age their whiskeys in the used barrels.
Hmm.
America, the law states they have to be brand new oak barrels
Hmm.
for whiskey, for bourbon. I'm sorry, they're classified as a bourbon.
So
And it doesn't have to be in the barrel for any length of time. It just has to kiss it. If
Yep.
we run it through there,
wow,
that's bourbon.
Yep.
wow.
It's still new make white dog, but you know what? And I've seen some whiskeys marketed aged for an extensive 30
Yeah.
seconds in a
Yeah.
new.
Innocent. See, the thing is with innocence, moonshine. This is what y'all know. Moonshine is whiskey.
Mhm.
It's unaged whiskey. White dog. It's unaged whiskey. That's moonshine. White lightning. Moonshine. That's. But you take that moonshine, you put it in a barrel. It gets some tannins on it. Get some, and then let it sit for a while. It starts to age.
Yeah.
Where a
So
lot of those flavors come from.
Yeah, and there, I mean, that moonshine, a lot of people call it corn liquor, right?
Yep.
Well,
Corn
if you
liquor.
think about bourbon, at least 51%
Yep.
of the mash bill has to be corn.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
corn liquor.
Yep.
so one thing I wanted to ask about also was I think it's called a copper age or a cooperage whiskey.
Well, a, a cooper is a barrel maker.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are guys, and dude, it's crazy. If you ever get a chance to go visit a cooperage,
Mm-hmm.
do it. It's like you're stepping back into the 1700s because they're not using different tools. I mean, they're using the same thing, and they're over there forming it and making their rivets, and they've got the old anvil, and it's crazy. Those guys are extremely talented at what they do. They're real craftsmen.
Yes.
So what distillery like really impressed you guys when you guys actually went and visited it and tasted all of their different types of whiskeys? And I know Block went to a few. I'm not even gonna. I know for a fact you've been to many distilleries, Josh.
Well,
So,
I'm me personally. I was impressed by a local distillery that's in East Baltimore.
mm,
Old Line Distillery. They make a single malt whiskey that just blew my socks off, and um, the flavors that they produced on their cask strength is like it's 124 proof, and it was just like wow. It was just so flavorful on so many levels. Um, so that is my goal. I buy a lot of whiskeys, I drink a lot of whiskey, but I have not been on a lot of tours. So what I can do where I live at, I want to visit all the distilleries in my state. I've been to Sagamore. I had a great time. I had a great time. I went to the Sagamore distillery, enjoyed that. I have another local distillery that's not too far from me called Blue Dye Distillery. So my end game is definitely to hit every distillery I can find.
Mm. So, well, go
And I
ahead.
would advocate for anybody else to do the same thing. I really would. If you in the state of New York, find all the distilleries in New York in at least 100-mile radius and pop in on them. Find out if they do tours. Find out, the information on them. Find their bottles. I definitely want to get down to Texas because there's a couple distilleries in Texas I want to check out.
Oh, we've got some great stuff here in
Yeah.
Texas.
I enjoy Balcones. Balcones is, I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be the one that I said that I really enjoyed the most. So we've got Iron Root up here in Sherman, and we
Right.
got Balcones over in Waco. What's cool about Balcones is I used to have to drive down to Temple, Texas once a week for work,
Right.
and I'd have to come through Waco. And so on the way home, you'd hit Waco and there was a lot of traffic. Well, the tasting room is still open.
Wow.
So I'd pop in there for about 30 minutes, to a 30 minutes to an hour, to a small fighter, taste something that, that I can't find on the shelves. But yeah, Balcones is great. It's good people. Their tour is fantastic. I feel like they really are the ones that put Texas whiskey on the map, because Texas whiskey is a completely different animal than anything else out there. It's funky, and some people say it's an acquired taste, and if you're a bourbon drinker, I would agree with that. If you start drinking some Texas whiskey, you're going to be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Right? But once you start getting into it and you can get through those, get your mind wrapped around that bourbon is not just one
Linear.
lane highway. Exactly. There's a
linear.
lot of different things in Texas, because the heat will age a whiskey in a year, 2 years, that some other places in the country, it'll take 4 to 6. It's crazy.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. But Balcones is a great one. I'm interested to see what they do differently on their tour, or if they're going to change anything up, because they were acquired by Diageo recently.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was
Okay.
big for them.
Okay.
So,
Like I said, my first bottle of Balcones was the red bottle. Not the baby blue, but the red one. I was like,
the pot still.
yep, the pot
Yep.
still. It just it was very flavorful. It had a nice sweetness, nice, almost like a cherry jamminess to it. But there was something weird. I couldn't put my finger on it. I still can't. And it was something
Funk?
weird, but I liked it. That's the key.
We call it Texas funk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Texas funk. If you can get your hands on a not a baby blue, but a true blue cask strength.
Yes, I'm looking for those.
Yeah, those are so good. We were sipping on some at the lounge last night during poker night. It's
Nice.
it had been a while since I had that. It was pretty good.
So you spoke on something very interesting, and I hear that a lot of these smaller companies are actually getting bought out by bigger companies, but they're keeping the same name. So they're just like, oh, they're falling under the umbrella. So one guy was saying that the whiskey game is kind of getting monopolized.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Think of these companies like Diageo and what's the other huge one that I can't even think of the name? Block, I know you know who I'm talking about.
I know you're not talking. You talking about MG?
No. This is another one like Diageo, where they're just buying up brands. But it's the same. They're basically like the STG, the General Cigar.
Right.
Yeah.
The same people like it's like they all go under one umbrella. Centauri, Wild Turkey, or Legion. All these they're bought by a larger company. And they fall under an umbrella. I can't think of the name of it. Oh my goodness, I feel so terrible right now.
Yeah, I know. So like Diageo they have several different spirits. They've got gins and vodkas, cognacs. I know they've got Johnny Walker. Yeah, the other one, this is killing me. This is gonna drive me nuts. It'll come to me in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
so one thing, one that I heard of that's really, really good is the Russell's Reserve.
Which one though?
So now one thing they always say is you have to check batch number, like your batch, and also like the letter. So or the lot. They said a lot is
Okay.
very important because they say like they say like the Russells, if you can get it in a lot E. If you get it from lot E, apparently that's supposed to be like one of their best, one of their best batches.
Russell's, people don't I mean, I would say this. A lot of people know about Russell's. They put it like this. If you can't get Eagle Rare, everybody goes Google Gaga over the Eagle Rare 10.
Mhm.
Grab a bottle of Russell's. 10-year-old, red label. That's my point. That's
Yeah.
it's I can't think of the batch number, but that red label, it came out years ago because Russell's has changed their label several times now.
Mm.
So if you could find an old box, beautiful, hands down. But that's a budget friendly,
Yeah.
great bourbon.
And it's made by
Buffalo Trace, correct?
no, Wild
No,
Turkey.
Wild
It's
Turkey.
the
Wild Turkey.
Russell's family.
Yeah,
Um,
Wild Turkey.
Now they've got the Russell's 13, which is the blue label. I've never had it. And I think
Me neither.
MSRP is like $150, $160, I think.
Wow.
But that's one that, and this is a whole other topic, but that's one that if you pick up, you're going to be looking at it. Do I really want to try this?
Yeah,
Or do I want to put it on the secondary
yeah.
or trade it?
Me,
So
I'm not. I don't.
Sorry,
Yeah, some people look at it like that. Some people look at it like that. I'm gonna drink it.
And it's funny you say that because I'm looking at something and I'm like, I could sell this. So like the Jacob's Well that I got
Mhm.
at the Specs drop. I could flip that, but I really don't want to. I've got a Weller Foolproof in there. Could flip that for a couple $100, paid $55 for it. But I'm gonna drink the shit out of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so let's get into that. Let's get into the
You
secondary.
buy 2 bottles. But see, I buy 2 bottles. I buy a bottle to share with my friends.
Mhm.
Drink and share. Like when I go to the Cigar, you see, I come with
Oh,
bottles. That's the share bottle. But I have my own personal bottle.
Yeah.
Like I have 2 bottles, 3, 4 bottles of Weller's Antique 107.
Yeah.
I have a share bottle, and then I have my drinking bottle. Then I have my put away bottle. You always gotta have a put away bottle at least.
So, one thing is like that. So the secondary market, when you're finding these rare bottles, like how are you able to find them in just regular convenience stores?
Because they just be that's the fun part. That is the fun part. That is
Easter
really
egg
the
hunt.
fun part. Yep, it's
Mm.
Easter egg hunt. And then you look and be like, and you look at the price of it, and you be like, he still got it at retail. Thank you, my friend. Because that's the problem with the secondary market. It's so gouged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can cuss. Am I trying to cuss?
You good to go.
Oh,
Good to
it
go.
fucks up the game. It fucks up the fun in this shit.
It does.
It really does. It's terrible. It kills, and people, because of greed, I can see you buying 2 bottles, but if somebody's coming in and you buy the whole case,
That's a problem. Yeah.
like, yo, for real, why? And I've seen prices on bottles. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Why does that cost so much here? I'm go down 20 minutes, 30 minutes out the way, and it's this retail. Oh man, hold on, I'm coming here. Yeah, I'm spending more on gas, but hey.
So my question now is also just when it comes to, because certain people like they have wine, they have spirit sellers where they actually go and get it appraised, and they go, oh well, the stuff you have is worth $5 million. The stuff you have is worth $2 million. You know,
because they also started counterfeiting whiskey, like that Pappy. They counterfeit that now.
I thought you were about to say, I got a counterfeit bottle.
Yeah, they really.
Oh, man. Yeah, they go watch Pappygate on Netflix.
Yeah, watch Pappy Gate.
Is it, or that is that what it was called?
I think it was.
It was like, I don't remember. It was something like the Big Heist or something like that.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's real. It's legit. But see, and that's another thing. Like you hear these wild stories. You know, is that bottle worth it? Is that bottle worth it? Like I paid retail for my bottle. I paid retail, and that's only way I'm gonna buy them. If I
Yeah.
find another one at retail, bingo, got it. Guess what I'm doing? I'm cracking that one, putting the other one away.
Oh yeah. And keep in mind that when we're talking retail,
Yeah.
if you go to, like a Total Wine or
Yeah.
or something like that, you're gonna find more true retail. But if you go to some of these mom and pop shops,
Yeah.
expect to pay $5 to $10 more.
Or, yep.
Yeah. And that's and you should be thankful to pay that because they're putting it on the shelf for that price.
Yep.
And you're helping keep them in business. All these mom and pop shops, they charge just a little bit more. Usually it's between $5 and $10.
You're correct.
It's the jerks that you'll get in there and you'll see, William LaRue Weller for $2,200, right? You're like, what are you doing?
I give you a prime example of a price gouge. This is a $30, $40 bottle, if that.
Yeah.
$100. I didn't pay $100. I paid the retail, but you'll see this for $100.
Wow.
And then you're looking at diminishing returns, right? Why am I going to spend $100 on this when I can go over and get a 1792 foolproof for like $50?
Oh, I love 1792. One of my favorite brands.
If you can get if you haven't had the foolproof yet, you need to get the foolproof.
So I've had the small batch,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was amazing. So you know what? Can you
Oh,
guys
it's great.
Can you guys speak on when they say small batch? Now, does that mean a limited, or is that just
That's just a marketing term?
It's a marketing term. It's a marketing term. It's where the barrel, like small batch. Oh, we pull from this barrel, and then we pull from this barrel, and then we pull from there. It's a small lot of barrels we pull from, so we make it a small batch. Single barrel is a single barrel.
okay?
So it's again marketing, but it's flavored different too. It's definitely going to be different than a single barrel because the small batch is blended to come up with a distinct flavor. That single barrel is that one single barrel.
So, going back to when I was talking about this. Dude, listen, let me tell you this, Josh. If the Cowboys win, Giants win, I hope you got a couch for me.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater, Block. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater.
And it's not if the Cowboys win, it's when the Cowboys win.
Exactly.
I'm a rock for my wife, even though I'm not a fan, but I'm a rock for my wife. I'm gonna show y'all that right there.
Oh my God.
That's her team. So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna leave it.
Listen.
Who invited this guy?
Yeah. You know what?
Oh.
Listen. All right. First of all, number one, tell the missus I said hello because that's my girl. I love her. That's my girl. And number two, just what's the name of your team again? Y'all change it like every,
Washington football team.
Yeah.
We the Washington football team.
Well,
you lucky right now. I ain't got a scans head next to me right now, man. I'd have pulled it. You lucky.
Listen, you and Sherry are on the hit list, all right, man? Because Sherry, every time I see her on, she always got Sun skins on every time.
Don't get mad when Lamar show up in Washington. But I digress. Let's get back to what we're talking to. I'm gonna get off.
So one thing I wanted to talk about was the Macallan 22 or Macallan, because so of course I work for a hotel. So when the owner of the hotel comes,
Mhm.
he used to stay. He would get a bottle of Macallan 22, but he wouldn't open it. But we would just have it there for him, just in case he wanted to drink it. That was his drink of choice.
That was his drink of choice.
His drink of choice. But I also see on a secondary market that was going for big money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Macallan has huge name recognition, right?
Mhm.
This is one of those things where you could go into diminishing returns because
Mhm.
I feel like Macallan makes a very good whiskey. But why am I going to spend that money on Macallan when I could come over and buy something else that I feel is going to blow it out of the water for,
Mhm.
way cheaper? So I'm never going to turn Macallan down. In fact, we were drinking Macallan 15 the other night. It's a very good solid whiskey.
Yep.
And I will never turn it down.
Yeah.
If you ask me if I want a whiskey, the answer is always yes. But but yeah, but when it comes to my pocketbook, I'm gonna venture over into something else. I mean, for me, I would even rather go blend and go Compass Box.
Hmm.
Compass Box makes some amazing scotches, and they're not distilling it; they're sourcing it. They're
Mhm.
sourcing it and blending it.
So, go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I mean, it's true. It's like, all right, he got a bottle of Macallan 22. That's a showpiece. He just wants to show I have the funds to
Mm.
grab this bottle. Now, okay, you got that. You're sipping it slowly. You're sipping it, enjoying it. That's what you like. Me, again, if I go into the Scotch realm, I'm starting to dabble into the Isles and the Highland part. I'm new to this. Me, I like the Glen Ross.
Mm.
A lot of people be like, oh, I like Glen Ross. Great flavors, great taste. So I mean, I understand. If I'm gonna spend that kind of, I'm not gonna say if I'm gonna spend that money. If I got that kind of money and I want to buy a bottle of something, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because for that one bottle, I can buy a plethora of different bottles.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
I would say this. So the other day, my sister put me to shame. So she went up and bought my dad a bottle of Johnny Walker. So my dad, he's kind of a label chaser, but he has a little collection, a little something, something. But
okay.
he has. So he went and bought the blue, he bought the double black, is the
Mhm.
double, and the green.
Okay.
And I was like, and I know the green goes for I think 250.
Hmm.
Is it worth the 250? The Johnny Walker green.
Not really too big of a fan of Johnny Walker. It's good
Okay.
stuff. I'm not. I'll go buy a bottle of Blood Oath.
Yeah, I'll probably never buy a bottle of Johnny Walker ever again.
Mm.
Um, if I was going to spend 200 and something dollars on a bottle of scotch, I'll tell you, I spent $220 on a bottle of Octomore, and that is
Mm.
probably
Mm.
the best bang for the buck out there. And
Yes.
Octomore is the
Yeah.
it's brutalotic, and it's the heaviest peated scotch on the market, right?
Mm.
We're talking two different styles here with Johnny Walker in this, but
Hmm.
for me, I'm an Isla guy, and Octomore has the highest what they call ppm, peat per million,
Okay.
out of anything out there. And when we talk about oils and finish, we're talking about viscosity, and that'll sit on your tongue, and it's like a minute long finish. It just keeps giving. But if
Mhm.
I go buy a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, I'll get a lot of people that'll want to come up and have some, and it'll just kind of fall flat. I'd rather have a Highland Park 12 or a
But
Glenmorangie Nectar d'Or,
like you're saying, it's the name recognition. They see the name like, oh, let me try. I want to try. It's the name recognition.
Mhm.
Like it's like getting into Japanese whiskeys.
I was gonna bring that up. Thank you for bringing
It-
that up, Block. Thank you.
Like you can buy that, you know what I'm saying? If you want to, you spend 200. I forgot the name of the I forgot the name of it. It's the
Oh, see, that's what you've been sipping on all night too, Josh.
but a Hibiki 21-year-old.
Yeah, the Hibiki 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's name recognition. Yeah, and so people love this, the Yamazaki 12, and
Yeah,
I've been
Yamazaki 12.
sipping on this.
Yep.
But you know what I think just kicks the living snot out of it? The Nika Yoichi, which
Ooh,
is an $80 bottle. This is $140 bottle. The
ooh,
Nika Yoichi, it's an $80 bottle.
ooh.
And so in Yamazaki, this is from Suntory, right? Hibiki, Yamazaki, these are all Suntory bottles. And to really understand Japanese whiskey, you kind of got to understand the history of it. I don't want to bore anybody too much with it, but there was a guy who went to Scotland and studied how to make whiskey because he wanted to bring it back to Japan. The guy's name was Masataka Takasuru. So he went and he studied for years and years and years, learned how to make it, came back, started Suntory, right? Suntory's the ones that makes the Yamazaki, the Hibiki, whatnot.
Right.
They were doing great stuff. And then he wanted to do some different things. And they stopped him. They said, no, the Japanese palate will not accept this. This is essentially too extreme for the palate. It's never going to sell.
Right.
So he said, Masataka Takasura said, okay, well, I'm going to go start my own distillery. And that was Nika. And so Nika does the Yoichi. They do the straight from the barrel. They do the coffee malts. Yes. Straight from the barrel. That is so good.
So good.
How much?
That is so good.
So and now we're running $80.
That one right there.
Mm-hmm.
It 4 years ago, you were looking at like $45. I haven't seen it less than $90 in the store in the last 2 years.
I got that bottle of Nika for $75.
Mhm.
I have upstairs, I have the coffee and the malt, the Nika malt, and Nika coffee.
The pure malt.
Everybody's like, oh, the coffee. No, it's not what you think it is.
No, the coffee is the still that the guy the still is named after the guy whose last name is Coffee.
Coffee, right. It's a distilling process now. So yeah.
So at my job, we have we were so of course like nobody, if you're on Doxby, whatever. So I work for Hyatt. So we were bought out by the Takanaka group. And so when they come in, they came in and for a shot, it's a certain type of it's an 18-year-old bottle. It's an 18-year-old bottle. I think it was $500 a shot. They told me just give me the bottle. They sat there and drank that bottle. But I don't know what whiskey it was, but it was definitely a Japanese whiskey. And they sat there. When the owners come in, they just say, give me that. And they basically drink all the Japanese stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, everybody's palate is different.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle the extra sweetness of bourbon. Some people can't handle the spiciness of rye. But even with to like what Josh was saying, the palate of Japanese is a little bit different. They love our bourbons. They love our ryes.
Yeah.
They also love their malts. They love their scotches. I'm sorry. They love their scotches. It's a status thing too. You gotta realize something. Drinking a bottle of just say, okay, I got this bottle of Elijah Craig. I got this bottle of Elijah Craig. And it's a status. It's a status to have a bottle of Elijah Craig, a bottle of just say the Joseph Magnus cigar blend. It's a status to have the most expensive bottle. Why do you think it's the same thing in champagne? Oh, I got Ace of Spades. I got Cristal. It's a status thing too. It's like, as you know, in the cigar world, as we all know in the cigar world, if you got that big dog, oh yeah, I got that Opus X Purple Rain. I got
Uh-huh.
this, and that. But sometimes those expensive whiskeys, just like in cigars, flavors don't equate out to what they're
So
costing.
I got my boy. So Brian hit me off with a bottle of the Drew Rye.
I can't believe that you found one of those. When you posted that, I was so pissed. I was like really jealous.
Yo, Quake
I want one
Quake
for my
has two
collection.
bottles. Quake has 2 bottles.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Quake has 2 bottles of the Drew Rye.
Well, he's got 2 bottles. Maybe he'll part with one.
So here's the thing. So Block knows Maddie, because Maddie comes to Sanj all the time.
Yep.
So Maddie comes in, and I told him, I said, hey, I got a bottle of the Drew Rye. He was like, you got a bottle of Drew Rye? He goes, where'd you get it? He goes, that's been discontinued for like 3-4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, my friends gave it to me. So I know I have a gold mine right here that I'm not going to drink at all. Well, I will one day. But
Well,
okay. Know what? Hey, Block, next time you come up, I'm gonna bring it.
Okay. But see, I've gone through the same thing. I had a dude, a brother in Canada, I was kicking it with. He pulls out a bottle of Stag Junior.
Mm.
So I was like they don't even call it Stag Junior no more. They changed this, it's just Stag now. But he has a bottle of Stag Junior. And he just pouring everybody a cup.
Wow.
Free, just freely pouring.
Whiskey's meant to be drank and it's meant to be
Exactly.
shared.
You know what?
We've got. I'm gonna do a shameless plug right now. No, so we've got a whiskey group down here, and
Okay.
in Dallas at the lounge. It's in Fuego's the lounge that we go to, and we call it EFWT, in Fuego Whiskey Tasting. In fact, my topper on here on my Glencairn, and there's a reason why we use these. We can get into that later, but yeah, see, we've got swag and stuff like that. But the whole thing is, you bring a bottle to share, and you drink as much as you want. And by bringing a bottle to share, a lot of people are bringing 2, 3, 4 bottles. Usually we have at least 30 something bottles on the table, and it's nice stuff. It's not ridiculously budget stuff. Of course, we've got some budget stuff there, but we've got, man, we've had 4K. We've had that $400 what was it, that $400 Glenfiddich? I think it was like the 21-year-old or whatnot, or no, I can't remember which one it was. But we've had a Thomas Handy, which is BTAC, right?
Right.
That has shown up at the whiskey tasting, and that goes to the point of, it's meant to be drank and it's meant to be shared.
Yep.
You might want to hang on to something for like a celebration with your friends or something like that, but don't let something sit there forever, because it's not getting better in the bottle. It's not changing. It will once you open it, and then you need to drink it or seal it up.
Yeah.
But
that's like,
share.
That's like when I came up there, we was at Sanj's, and I pulled out the bottle of Architect, the Penelope Architect.
Let me say, no, can I tell a story real quick, Block? So this is the first time I ever met Block, and he shows up, and this is when the SP was first launched. The SP
bottles with me too. I had like 3-4 bottles with me.
So we have a couple of cops there, a couple of state troopers there, and Block shows up, and they go, "Oh, we drink this, and this." Block pulls out the Penelope, pulls out the Heaven's Door.
Gas strength. I pulled out the Heaven's Door.
Love me some Heaven's Door.
I pulled out the Infinity bottle too.
And they went up and they took a sip of that. They go, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like overproof stuff. We don't like overproof stuff." They took a sip of that. Yep. They said, "Holy shit!" They were like, "This right here, there's no burn." They said this is some of the most tastiest stuff that I've ever had. And and that's kind of one thing that like when you're in the lounge, you kind of connect with people.
Yes.
And when block comes up, everybody know what's on deck. Everybody's like, yo, he's the whiskey guy, he's the bourbon guy. Everybody know, and so like, they'll go, oh, so what you got, and then people would try to go and compare and try to go up and say what they got, and Block goes, I got that, but I got this right here, and they'll taste what he got. It was one guy at the lounge, and he said, oh, I don't drink. He says the only thing he drink is Corona. He goes, he doesn't drink dark liquor because he is like the burn. Block gave, I don't know what Block gave.
I gave him the barrel bourbon Seagrass.
Just curious, do you know which batch?
Hold on. Ow.
Let me tell you something. That Seagrass also got. This drink was like up to here, so I'm a little. This is a whiskey show, so of course, I gotta get a little fit. But I had
11.75.
Oh no, hang on. All right, so wait a second. Take a look at the bottle. And okay, do you see the grass?
Yes.
Look at the far right hand side. In the grass, there will be a tiny number.
Yeah, I see it. I'm old, so I can't.
So it's easy if you take a picture with your phone and zoom in on it.
That's what I'm about to do.
That's the batch number. I've only had batch 5 and batch 6. I love batch 5, but it's crazy how different they are.
Seagrass became one of my favorite. You know what? So
I gave you Dovetail. Now wait a minute. I gave you Dovetail, Seagrass, and a store pick barrel a private barrel from them.
So the Seagrass was off the chain. So like, I think like, so once I have something, I run, like if Josh is in the tribal, I run back to Josh and say, oh, I had this, I had that, and Josh say, okay, that's pretty good. I always run back to Josh and I go, I always report back to Josh to what I had, because I know Josh knows his stuff.
I can't find it. I'm Jesus Christ.
I'll take a picture of my bottle and
the location is?
Yeah, and I'll send it to you, and you'll be like, oh, it's right there. Yeah, you know what's crazy is these are they're blenders, they're not distillers.
Yeah.
And people crap on these sourced whiskeys. Most of the whiskey that's on the shelf comes from MGP. What is it? Midwest Grain Producers, I think is what it stands for. They are the biggest producers of whiskey in the United States, and most of the whiskey comes from them. And it's really freaking good.
Good. It's delicious whiskey.
Yeah.
Prime example. Oh, forget High West. Great stuff. Midnight's Dram, great stuff. The Double Rye, great stuff. Right. This is all sourced stuff.
Sourced. Yep.
So Josh,
insane.
What do you have? Because you told me that you have about 6 whiskeys there. What do you have right there to show everybody? Just a little bit of your arsenal.
So I panicked and just like took a scoop, right? No, so I wanted to bring out a budget. We got the 114, right?
And what's the price range on that one?
This one is about $25.
In Texas, that's $25.
Yeah.
In Maryland, it's 30.
Wow.
Yeah. It's worth every penny.
So up here in Jersey, if it's 35, it'll probably be 40, 45 up here.
Yeah.
It may not.
We've got the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And this is batch A122. So this is this year's A1 batch. That's about $60.
Okay.
We've got, as it should be. Thank you.
Yes. This is a store pick, 1792 full proof, about $55. We've got Weller Antique 107.
Wow.
Which is a $55. The Midwinter's Night Dram. This one is last year's, right? So this last year, This was $100 bottle. I got this year's release. And thank you, Matt Hashimoto.
Hey, you know what? So
And
just a little inside thing. Hashi gets a shout out every show.
oh yeah, he does.
Hashi,
He does.
yeah, like Hashi he's like, dude, how do I get a shout out? I'm like, Hashi, my boy. You know? And also, so Block, one thing about Hashi doesn't smoke any of his cigars and doesn't drink any of his whiskeys. He stores them and just keeps them. He has, if Hashimoto has one of the craziest humidors you'll see. Like he has stuff you're like, you didn't smoke that yet? He's like, nah, I'm not touching it, bro. I'm not touching it.
So we're gonna go visit him, and we are going to pillage that son of a
Wait a minute,
bitch.
You know, I might have been on a call with him. Was it Hodge? He lives in Utah.
Yes, he does. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's Hashi. That's
Yeah. Oh man, we chopped it up. We definitely chopped it up.
Hashi is one of the best people.
Yeah.
You know, like he's but it's hard to say like because everybody in the Legion is like good people in their own way.
Mhm.
You know, like especially like think like Val.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
Oh, what do you got right there, Josh? Hold up.
Put this one away. This is. Remember, I'm a big Pete guy, and this
Okay.
is Bunnahabhain,
mm,
but this is their peated expression. Bunnahabhain is known for their non-peated whiskeys, right? Bunnahabhain 12, and you're basically getting the salinity and that seawater brininess, but
mhm.
this puts a whole nother level on it. And then I also brought out earlier the Yamazaki 12.
Yeah.
I almost texted my wife earlier. I was like, ooh, bring out the Octomore. But if I drink that, it's going to bury everything, which is
Yeah,
why I didn't bring it to that whiskey tasting that you saw that video of.
Yeah.
And Havana Pete.
that will kill. That kills everything.
Mhm.
And the cigar is dead.
Exactly.
You're
Like
not tasting it.
Pete, Pete Wynn, Havana Pete on Discord. He was like, "Oh, I thought you would probably bring the Octomore today," and I told him, I said, "I didn't bring it out of respect to everybody because if somebody grabbed that bottle first, everything else is dead." And we had some awesome stuff. We had the Willet Purple Top, like the black bottle Purple Top.
Oh, yeah, I've had that.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and it's good. It's very delicious. Not the price point. I would,
But that price point changed. If you haven't noticed, that price point went through the roof.
Well, oh, dude, even this, right? So this is last year's. This was
Uh-huh.
$100. This year's Midwinter's Night Dram, $165.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
So it went like Willet went from the Willet purple, the purple label or purple top. I think it was like $80 around that. I think. Now it's like $700 something.
What?
Yeah.
a 9-year, 140.8 proof purple top. I didn't see it. I saw a picture of it.
Right.
I licked my phone when I saw the picture, but I was like, I gotta have it.
If you can't, I'll say this: you can't get a purple top. They're hard to get. They're expensive. So just grab the rye from the same estate family.
Mm.
Mhm.
Rye is the rye is great. I gave my
60
bottle.
bucks.
Yeah, I gave my bottle to Beth when we was at Saunders. Like, here you go. I know you love Willie. There you go.
So my question now is about Pappy.
Okay.
So why is Pappy so? It's
Well,
like a mythical.
Josh, you can take this one. All right. So it's the pinnacle, right? And it's all name recognition, right? That's what it is. It's marketing and name recognition. It is BTAC, which stands for Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, which includes all the Pappies, the William LaRue Weller, the Thomas Handy, Sazerac. But yeah, so to give an example, right? When you're talking about these diminishing returns, Jake Hinkle, who used to be in the Legion, gave me a sample bottle for my birthday. And I was so stoked at my guess at what the bottle was. And I'll tell you why. So I'm drinking it, and I can tell right away, it's a Buffalo Trace product.
Wow.
And well, right, you can, once you start drinking these enough, you can pick out, you're like, oh, this is definitely a Buffalo Trace product.
Yes.
And
yep.
then I'm like, okay, the proof is up there, but it's not super high, but it's definitely above 100. You know what? This is the Weller Antique 107. It was the old Rip 10, which is the same mash bill and the same proof. Buffalo Trace, right? But it is better. It is significantly better than the 107.
So why is
But at the
Buffalo
price
Trace-
point, if you're going to pay the $80 to $100 for the 10, am I going to do it all day long? Am I going to pay $600 to $900 for it? I don't think so, because at that point, we're real close.
And be honest with you, the actual retail for that is what, $50, $45?
Yeah. It's like, I think it's like $60. Yeah, it's crazy. I think the 23 is what, 250, 300?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, it's one of those things. It's a status symbol. You have Pappy. It's a status symbol. I left off the Eagle Rare 17 on the BTAC as well. But
that one is definitely a price gouger too.
The
17 is a price gouger.
I keep Eagle Rare in the house because people really like to drink it, and I can pick it up for $27 a bottle, the 10, right?
Mine is 41.
Is it really?
Yeah. I have a bottle right here.
Oof.
41. It's 41 a bottle, up to $50. But again, I've seen it for $100.
And that's insane. And one thing that's really cool though out here is we've got store pick Eagle Rares that you can get for maybe 35 instead of 27. And they're really cool to do side by sides with. Right. That's really cool when you can start doing side by sides of single barrels and store picks and pick out the differences.
Yeah.
So training your palate.
So I would say this. So how two questions. This is a two-part question. So they're two different questions totally though. Why is Buffalo Trace so in high regard also, but how important is it to have a like a relationship with your local store rep?
It's great. Okay. Buffalo Trace has all the Pappies, right? Has all the Eagle Rares. Has all the Blantons. You know how people go Google Gaga for the Blanton's grenades?
Yes.
This is the first time that we've even mentioned the word Blantons, but yeah.
Yes. And then you have Buffalo Trace itself. Then you have the Sazerac. All this stuff comes out of BT. BT makes a lot of bourbon and highly sought after bourbon. It's nothing super special about it, but it's the people, the secondary community, the word of mouth, social media, it expands it, it blows it up, So now the second part, having a good good relationship with your local guy is always great because he gives you the insight. Like, I got this coming in. Oh, I'm gonna have this. I know you want to try something different, and at some point they'll give you a bottle. Just like, yeah, man, take this.
So, like, Mike. So now, one thing you said very interesting was the store pick to the regular. So are the store pick and the regular bottles the same thing?
No.
Okay.
No. I prefer, me personally, I want to try all store picks.
Mm.
That means that the owner of that store or the person took their time, went to the distillery, tasted, like, all right, I want to try something different. I want something just a little bit different from the regular production bottle. It makes it unique. Like Josh was just talking about the store picked Eagle Rare.
Mm.
You want to compare it. Like, dang,
Mm.
oh, that's what's different about it. Oh, yeah, I picked that up. Like this, okay, I'll give you a prime example. This store pick Elijah Craig
Yeah.
tastes way different than the regular Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
Way different to me. Some people may not find it. I find it. It's more flavorful. It's more honey, more caramel, more little brown sugar. But and you put it with the regular one is just kind of bland to me.
So my question now to you, this is a question about no, this is a question for both of you guys. So were you guys wives big like whiskey and bourbon drinkers before they met you?
My wife, no. I
Okay.
can say my wife was not a big whiskey or bourbon drinker. My wife was Amsterdam. She was white liquor. She
Mm.
was vodka, gin, tequila. So those type of things was her lane. I'm the one that actually introduced her to the bourbon side, but
Okay.
she left the white liquor alone and went to
Mhm.
red wines and white wines
Mm.
and mixed drinks. But my wife was like, "Oh, I got a headache." I said, "Stop mixing your drinks." But she
Mhm.
loves a good old fashioned. She loves a good Tom Collins. She likes a good martini. So it's no.
Mhm.
I got her on. I got her on whiskeys. Now she just, you know, gang busts my stuff down.
I
And
no, she bragged about it too. No, tell my sister I said hello. Because that's my girl.
yeah, I know she'll be mean mugging me,
Oh,
but
you know what? You know what? Tell her she need to meet her Eagles on Saturday.
I'm not coming in.
No, but you better come in and say hi, Bree. You can say what's hey, what's up? What's up? How's everything, Bree?
It's good. I'm getting ready to go to bed, so I don't want to jump on camera. I have on undergarments.
Oh, okay, all
that's why I
right.
was like, no.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
This is
But
about
y'all
to be
have
a
a good
different
night.
kind
And
of
I'll
show.
talk about my Eagles. We'll talk about them girls in skirts after the game.
All right. You know I love you.
Love you too.
But that's funny because this is her bottle. This is her own bottle. I buy her bottles like she buys me bottles.
That's amazing. So, Josh, was your wife a bit a bourbon before you met her?
Absolutely not, and she's still not.
Oh wow.
She is the biggest supporter of cigars and whiskey for me.
Yeah.
She really is. She's the one that's like, if I'm eyeballing a bottle and I'm kind of thinking about it, she's the one that kind of kicked me in the ass and said, "You've been dying to go get a bottle of Oxmoor. You found one. Why the hell are you not pulling the trigger on it right now? In fact, get in the car. We'll all go to the liquor store. We'll go." So, but Mary, she's a sommelier. So she's a very big wine. Yeah, she's a certified sommelier, and she's a big wine connoisseur. Our wine collection probably triples our whiskey collection.
So I have to have Mary next then.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Murray. Oh man, I got no.
Yeah.
I'm getting some wine. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, she's a great time. She's a lot of fun. In fact, she and the owner of Enfuego, they're going to be curating a wine and cigar pairing event.
That's amazing.
Yeah, at the I'm really proud of her. Her and a friend of ours, they are at our country club. It sounds bougie. It's not. Uh, but they are heading up a wine and dinner pairing program that we're going to be kicking off probably next quarter. And they're going to be meeting with the chefs, and then they're going to be pairing all the wines. And so I can't tell you how proud I am of her becoming a somm. She would study for hours and hours and hours, and her test, she was gone for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And she, I'm sitting there and I dropped her off, because I was gonna go do something downtown over by there, and I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, man, I know she's just sitting there getting drunk now. No, there was like the oral portion of the class, there was the pairing portion of the class, and then there was the written portion of the test. I mean, I'm like, wow, it was insane. So yeah, so she's awesome.
I think the crazy thing is like you never really hear about food pairings when it comes to bourbon. It's like I'm at a burger. I'm having a burger with some bourbon. I'm gonna have my salad with a bourbon. You know.
Oh, I mean, but it's definitely plays a role. It definitely, it's like all right, I know I'm gonna have this big old monstrous steak. I can go for a good, solid, strong cigar. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Like with my wife, going back to that question, like she knows if we go in the liquor store, I'll look. I'm like, ooh, babe, look at that. Ooh, but she pays attention.
Yeah.
And then, out of nowhere, surprise, I got this bottle. Like, ooh, like for my birthday, she got me the bottle, not this year, but last year's birthday, she got me the bottle of another bottle of Nika by the Barrel. She's like, I know you like this. She enjoyed it. And she got me a couple cigars. So, I mean, that's the beautiful thing. But the problem I'm having right now with her is that she's liking what I like. See, you got a good, Josh. You got the wine aspect. Mine is digging into the whiskeys because I'm not drinking right now, and of course the cigar. So I'm just like,
no, and she D-blocks your cigars, man.
Yeah, she be deboing my cigars hard. Like you want to smoke this? Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll get you another one. I'm like, that's my last one.
That's a limited edition. They don't sell those anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
Nah, she's
like, well, I'll tell you how it is.
So, you got any more of those SPs or industry killers you left?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3. I got 4 boxes down there of the SPs, and I got. Hold up. I meant to show you this anyway. Where you at? Where you at? Oh, this is my son's box.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
still haven't had any of his stuff. I'm gonna have to. Does he sell them online?
I can
shop.
I can ship you some, Josh. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just let
me know the cost, man, because I definitely want to try them.
I got the 2021 industry killers.
Wow.
I got this year's Section 8 Deluxe. And then the rest of the box, this box is just full of industry killers, the new ones, the Maduro.
Hey, Block. Those new ones are
Yum yum. Oh, yeah. You remember these?
You know what? I was never able to get those. Well, I didn't try those at the time.
Oh yeah. I got a few of these. Hold up. How about this? You remember these right here?
Yes, I had. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but he didn't make them no more.
Nope, not making these anymore.
I had those. Yep, I had those.
Dot heads. I got all. I mean, like I said, I pretty much went when I came up there for the first time. I pretty much bought every one he had, and was like, "Yo, I gotta try." I tried it, and I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, I still got it.
No, what the thing is so, like certain people try his stuff, and because I hype it up so much that they have such high expectations for it, that they're like, oh wow, it's just but it's a regular cigar, but it's a great cigar.
It's like, it's like the industry killer now. I don't want to keep hyping it up. I'm gonna say, like, look, man, just try it. Just try it. Like every time when I come up there again, I'm buying me 25 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm convinced free to buy 25 of them.
Mm-hmm.
On top of the blacks and the reds. Like, see, those are the only ones I can't get in. I can get the reds and the blacks if I gotta go to Baltimore, but I can't get the industry killers without coming up there.
So, I would say so. Little plug. So Rob, if you go to shouldiSmokeThis.com,
Yep.
He sells Sanji's. He sells the SP Blacks, SP Reds. Also, he sells the Industry Killers Habano and Maduros. So they are on his website.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
So smoke this.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Garbage Pellets gang.
yeah.
Yo,
Yep.
yo,
Yeah.
man, I was
It's
out, man. Like I'm with Rob pretty much almost like 4 times a week. I'm with Rob chilling.
Yeah, and his proceeds do go help the disabled veterans and military. So
But
It's the
You
most
know-
perfect hair I've ever seen.
oh, please don't get him started on his must. Oh man, man, me like Rob, like we'll be chilling outside in the summertime, and he'll just sit there and comment on cars all day.
hey, do what Jerry Jones. Remember Jerry Jones won the Super Bowl and he messed his hair up?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
yeah.
walk past and do that.
Yep. That's Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson, yeah.
So
Probably
Yo.
the only Cowboys offensive line I ever loved. That was the best offensive line.
you know what? Like so now we're going on a little cowboy. So they have a show called Hanging with the Boys. Do you watch it, Josh?
I haven't heard of this.
So
No.
go on YouTube, look up Hanging with the Boys. It's Jesse Holly, Nate Newton, and it's Shannon used to be. It's not Shannon. Fuck, who's there? It's I can never forget. I never remember the last guy's name.
Oh.
But they're all good. And so the Cowboys have their own podcast network. So they have 5 shows.
I don't
Oh,
care.
that's cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't go ahead.
But the best guy in Cowboy radio is Broadus, Brian Broadus.
Okay.
Brian Broadus, if you're able to get a show where you get Nate Newton and Brian Broadus together, they break down not just the Cowboys, they break down every player, every stat, because Nate is going to tell you in the trenches and Broadus is going to break down the stats.
Right.
Those two together are magic. They are magic.
Crazy. So I'm gonna say this is my disclaimer. The Washington Hogs,
Yeah.
the Washington Redskins was the best offensive line.
But you know,
The Leon Lett led offensive line was the best offensive line. My 2 favorite offensive lines in NFL history.
well, here's the thing. Like you had Eric Allen.
Yeah.
You had Nate Newton. You had I forgot the center's
Nasty.
Yeah, and then I forgot the center's name. But then on the other side, you had Larry Allen.
Yep.
And I forgot the other tackle's name. But those dudes right there were just. And then you had Jay Novacek.
Right.
They were just moving people.
Yeah, I know. Larry, oh my, I watched Larry move. So you know how you got the TV screen? The guy completely out the screen, he's still there. And I'm like, y'all seeing this shit?
You know what? I would say this, man. One thing I would say about those early, like John Madden really changed how you look at offensive linemen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it really goes under like if it wasn't for him, the fullback wouldn't be appreciated, offensive lineman wouldn't be appreciated, and defensive lineman wouldn't be appreciated.
Right.
He was able to let you fall in love with those big, ones dirty.
Like with the Washington Hogs, man. Like they were just road graders. Like,
well, you know what? I would say this: that offense with the counter offense,
the counter trade,
the counter, because they sat there and ran that counter to a T. But how about this? But Joe, who's the coach?
Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs.
Right.
And now he's in the racing. Joe Gibbs racing. He could still be coaching now. He said, fuck that. I'm going into racing.
Nope. Joe said, let it be known that the game has moved past him. And why not get into bigger money?
Well, apparently, so Emmett got involved in NASCAR because he thought it was a moneymaker, but apparently their TV contract isn't good. So a lot of those teams are losing money.
It's sponsorship.
Yes. So a lot of teams are losing money.
Well, Emmett's problem was that he didn't understand that it wasn't a Flintstone car, and he's got some fast feet, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he kept being, 3-4 lengths behind the back car. He can run fast, but he can't.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's again, and you gotta realize at what year and what time Gibbs got into it
Hmm.
compared to Emmett.
Yeah.
And he got in ground floor. Gibbs got in ground floor, built his team.
Hmm.
The money was being generated. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
definitely being generated. And you gotta look at his money he was making between compared to his coaching money.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Big difference.
because like his drivers were because did he have Kevin Harlan?
I'm not sure.
Josh, do you know who his drivers
I
were?
don't remember.
I think we had who was the guy? What was the guy? No,
It wasn't Mark Martin, right? Or Sterling Martin?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have to Google that one.
Yeah, but like, well, if we went on a little tangent, like, I guess we're gonna go back to the whiskeys.
Okay, fine.
Because
Totally fine. I know we kind of
but left.
That's fine. It
You know,
happens.
it definitely happens, and it happens during a great conversation.
Right.
So, we never really answered the question on if you were starting a collection, because you brought up the Wild Turkey 101, which you put me on to.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a lot of good stuff that's under $60. So if you could choose a 6 that you could get for
Under 60. My 6 under 60.
6 under 60.
Wow. I gotta do 6. Ugh. All right. I'm gonna do 6 under 60. I'm gonna do 6 under 60 that I have on hand. All right.
Mhm.
6 under 60. Oh, have on hand. Under $60. Medium rare. Everybody goes to this regardless. Buffalo Trace.
Mm-hmm. I got a bottle in the kitchen.
Wild Turkey 101.
Mm-hmm.
Old Granddad 114.
We're gonna have
I'm
some
up
overlap.
I'm up to 4 now. I'm up to 4. Now under 60. Under 60 is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Do. What I paid under 60, right? Okay. Smoke Wagon.
Mm. Wow.
Sweetness.
Mm.
Right now, those are my 5. I could have gone so many other way. I could have even pulled out the Cooper's Craft barrel strength.
Wow.
But
So
I'm gonna see what I'm going right now.
So what about you, Josh?
Ooh, okay. We're gonna
As
have
you
some
notice,
overlap.
there's Penelope in there, but
Yeah.
because again, prices are different and
Yeah.
different locations.
So you have to have some staples. Old Granddad 114,
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey 101, and then I'm going to say Ardbeg Wee Beastie.
Mm.
We're going to throw a peated scotch in there,
Okay.
and then Highland Park 12. I'm going to do 2 scotches, 3 bourbons. I'm leaving Irish out. I'm not a big Irish fan. I do like some Redbreast, particularly their cask strength.
Mm.
But yeah, we're 114. We're talking $25. Wild Turkey 101, like $22.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean the scotches, or excuse me, Buffalo Trace, $22. I remember when it was $13.99 or $14.99. That was the good old
Wow.
days.
Damn it.
The Ardbeg Wee Beastie, $40.
Mhm.
And then Highland Park 12, like 45. I mean, that's going to give you a good gamut of dark, rich bourbon to kind of spicy bourbon, and then you're going to get peated scotch and unpeated.
Wow. All right,
See,
guys.
this what makes it so hard. Be honest with you, because I could turn around cash strength, Maker's Mark 46. It makes it so hard. This is like 45. $30 for the Make and Mark 46 French oaks though. So this makes it hard. To be honest with you. Laws, bottle and bond, rye. This makes it hard. This really, that's why it's hard to say, oh my goodness. You can't, again, a classic one. This is not the regular bottle, but a regular bottle, Elijah Craig, these are classic go-to whiskey. That's what makes it so hard to pick 6. I'm sorry, I went over 6, but
That's perfectly fine.
You know what?
$50. Like, yo,
My
it's
baby.
like,
You've got Wild Turkey Rare Breed. They're cask strength, $46.
Wow.
the
And
rare,
that might,
and you got the rye.
and that bourbon, in my opinion, might just be one of the best bang for your bucks on the market.
Yep. It's 116 proof. It's good. It's just flavorful. Again, it's hard. Everybody is so many that are like 60 and down that are just knock your socks off. Good.
So
They compete with the higher price ones.
wow. Yeah. Well, guys, we're about an hour and a half in.
Okay.
I'm gonna end it here. So
Cool.
I hope you guys really enjoyed and I hope the biggest thing I hope you guys did was I hope you guys learned just a little bit more about whiskeys, about bourbons, and what to pick up, what to look for,
Right.
and trust me, this is not the last time I'm gonna have these two guys on here. So I'm gonna make this kind of a normal occurrence because there's so much to get into. So so I'm gonna sign off here. Big Guilty Cigar Reviews on YouTube. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know the vibes already. Until next time, guys. Josh, Block, we are all out of here. Peace.
Definitely. Later.
For having us.